So I think it'll be great to sort of open up the floor to start off the session with both of you. And what are some key sectors where you've seen more of this interest in AI? Interestingly, also tell us what are some sectors where there is less interest in AI.
Yeah, so I'll first answer the point that you have raised, that people are looking for efficiency, and with AI, there is that have multiplied. And I think we all have seen the COVID time where like tech industry have seen extraordinary growth. And then I say it a lot, like whatever AI is changing, and I think all of us are kind of edge because we all are anticipating what is going to happen with AI, and especially being in tech industry, it's very, very important because we have to be at the forefront, and we have to make sure that proactively we use AI in proper way, and then we stay at forefront because it's not like another thing. We have seen blockchain, we have seen so many things, and then probably whatever was expected and what happened, so there was a quantum difference. But here we all are seeing that it's going to transform things in more ways than we can imagine. So what I feel in tech industry, it was due for efficiency. I don't understand, so many of us still write a sign up code, and then why would so many sign up has to be written, and then so we are doing redundant things, and then it was happening. But suddenly AI happened, and as you rightly said, it happened simultaneously that a lot of tech companies have started to feel, and non-tech companies as well, that efficiency has to be improved. And so it's happening. The AI is giving the stimulus where it is believed that AI is going to improve the efficiency, but even without it, that efficiency need to be improved. So it's kind of magnifying. And then when it comes to which are the industry where AI is can make a difference, I think all what depends. So if we talk about right now, so before AI, the only way we could make when we are doing software, so we just have logical programming, and with the logical programming, we were developing software which would solve the business use cases. With AI, we have another power, which is pattern recognition. And with that pattern recognition, we can make software even more intelligent. So all the LLMs, all the Gen AI things. So now this extra power, because logic, you can just do 2 plus 2. And then the creativity was missing, the imagination was missing. It cannot build on the basic inference that was there. Now with AI, we can make tools which can be creative, which can build on the user intent, what they are trying to do. So it's, I think every industry would have use cases where AI can make a huge difference. What does let me give an example that when you say that which would not have likely use case, so it's rather than the industry, it would be more use case specific. So let's take example of healthcare. Now AI, when a doctor is trying to prescribe medicine or doing a diagnosis, so AI can help them. Let's say somebody write that I have got cold. Now the complementing symptoms which might exist would be a cough or a fever so a AI system can keep on suggesting that does the patient also have this, and based on that it can also try and recommend the medicines. But now those suggestions are relevant for a doctor, and it is suggesting it is helping in the diagnosis as well as prescription, but it should not be used for directly prescribing medicine. It's more like a suggestion. So similarly, if we talk about legal cases, so AI can help you in suggesting how to go about a draft, but at the same time, it should not happen that it becomes a legal document you directly pursue. So in my opinion, useful cases would be across industry. It will depend, same thing becomes right if you use it in a certain way, and it would not be appropriate if you use it in another way.
No, I think this is interesting because within companies, right, I have personally seen there might be more than 2 ways, but I've personally seen 2 ways that the AI sort of focus is drilled down. So at a very high level, there are boardroom discussions, where folks are saying, hey, how can I improve the efficiency of a company? How can I use AI to achieve this? But the people who actually have to build it and develop it, right, all of the developers and engineers, they might not have full visibility on what impact it's going to have or what metrics that the folks in the boardroom are trying to achieve. I've seen a little bit of mismatch in some companies, but some companies do a very good job in being very articulate, right? Hey, this leader, these are the 5 metrics that you have to optimize. Use AI to optimize just for these few metrics, right? So I've seen very conflicting approaches. And you guys, of course, work with a lot of companies that come to you and a lot of clients that are also looking at AI. What sort of approach have you seen specific to metrics, right? Are they clear in terms of what metrics they're trying to really solve for? Or is it more along the lines of, hey, everybody is doing AI, so let me also try and figure something out?
AI directly affecting a business metric, I haven't thought about AI like that. To me, as I said, when we are building any kind of platform, so now, so previously we just had logic, now we also have something that can be more creative, that can add intelligence. So specifically like AI driving a metric, to me, I haven't thought it like that. To me, it is more like you can create better system. Let's talk about a CRM again. Like I think if I talk about with the example, so it would be more clear. So let's say CRM, and then CRM, when I'm saying, when it's also helping you with the nurturing of the lead, and then so a normal system would be like you'll do a drip campaign, and you'll send like, let's say, 4 messages to all the customer, all similar, and you'll just have those tags where like the name would change and the company would change, and there would be few parameters. With AI, what you can do when you're like, you still have those 4 nurturing mails, but like then you can also give it understanding of what the particular prospect is doing by giving their website link, and now those mail would be significantly more personalized, and you just speak to their problem so that they can understand better. Now, I'll not say that like how would it directly change a business metric. So of course you can expect better conversion rate, better. But like not like you can say that AI is gonna change that, because it will make better system. So the same metric would be, it would be more efficient, and you can expect better result. That is how I look at it.
No, interesting. And I think this sort of begs the question that what are some areas where it's maybe harder to do this? There are a lot of, for example, we're getting the new DPDP, there's going to be a lot of things around data privacy, compliance, etc. But that's not the only thing. So are there some sectors where you feel it's naturally harder, right, for companies to integrate AI? Do you feel there are some very obvious, I think you mentioned finance and fintech, right? But just because people are looking forward to it, is it really that easy? Because you're dealing with so much customer data. There's so much sensitivity out there. There's so much more technology, so much more of bias as well that you need to account for. It's just very difficult to build it into the product. So some thoughts in terms of what sectors are really harder for these sort of products to be built out of.
Yeah, at risk of sounding redundant, but I'll again say more than industry, I think it would be use case. So if I again take the same example or build on that, so we talk about healthcare and then a doctor prescribing a medicine. So nothing could be more sensitive than that, right? So your life depend on right kind of prescription. So it's like, how do you use it? If a patient start to use it to self-diagnose and find the medicine, so it's not the right thing. But if a doctor is being suggested using that, so it becomes right. So it's not so much about the industry or sensitivity. It's more about how it's being used. And like even if you go on a Chat GPT or a Claude or any of the LLMs and you ask for a, like, I have this symptom, so and then sometime they'll prescribe, will try to give you a diagnosis and even medicine, and 10 times they'll write under that you should not be using it and you should be going to a doctor or something like that. So it has to be used in the right way.
No, interesting. And I think so let's stick on with this theme of use cases, right? So let's say, all the developers in this room, of course, they know that AI is the next big thing. Let's say, they upskill themselves, not just with AI, but like we were talking earlier, they learn business metrics, they learn performance, they learn product. How should they look at these use cases, right? So should you be saying, okay, these are the 5 healthcare use cases that are coming, I will try and dig deeper into understanding what is the data culture of this company, who are the leaders. Is that the right approach? Or do you think they should still say, hey, I'm bullish about a certain use case. I'm not going to really worry about, what the data culture is. Maybe I can go in and I can try to inspire that change from within, right? It's a very different approach, right? Do you go into a well settled, a well functioning team, or should you try and be that instrument of change?
If we talk about even logical programming, so anybody can learn a language in few weeks to few months, right? But to become a really good developer can take a lifetime. It's always learning in progress. So I think use case would keep on evolving, and then if I see a developer, so I would not get attached to a use case. Domain makes sense, but but like if I talk about the basic engineering capability, so let's say even with the prompt engineering, if I go, so I can start to understand it pretty quickly. But then to meaningfully use it can again, it's not like that. You have to constantly build on it, and it never ends. You can never say that I know how to incorporate AI into a product. And more you do it, you become better at it. And then as you so you start to see more use cases. I can put it here, I can put it there. So the learning would be constant. So from engineering side, so one thing is like if you kind of have a domain understanding, business understanding, that is to your advantage, that can work. But on engineering side, my advice would be to like keep doing it, and more you do it, you become better at it. And it's similar to logical programming. You can learn it quickly, but like a good engineer, and then the constant experience, like people, a good engineer can make a magic. So similarly, if you understand AI, if you keep on building on it, so it's a ever learning process.
Right. So I think now what I'd like to ask you is, and I had mentioned this when I was just addressing the crowd earlier, is that what we see happening is maybe one person or two people, developers, right, can launch a product or even a startup that can scale to millions of users. It was not the case earlier. Earlier, you needed a co-founder, you needed to build your own engineering team, you needed a lot of stuff just to be able to scale up. I think going forward, that process is becoming easier. And a lot of developers who have been part of all of our previous initiatives, a lot of them are thinking of being founders. Maybe if not being a founder, they are thinking, hey, can I launch a product of my own? Or maybe can 3-4 of my friends launch it, run it, and scale it just ourselves? Do you guys think that those capabilities are already there in the market? Do you feel like developers can sort of do it in the next 1 or 2 years, or do you think we're still a bit far away in terms of just the sheer AI capabilities, being able to launch and run a product just by yourself, or with a very minimal, bare bones kind of approach?
So I think AI is a big magnifier, right? So whatever you have, if you are creative, it would magnify it by, let's say, 10 times, 100 times, whatever multiplier you want to add to it. So if you are really creative, whatever you want to do, you can do 10 times with help of AI, right? And similarly, it would magnify your shortcomings. So people who are not that creative, they are not that efficient. So they'll not be able to produce much, because whatever you can do, you can multiply it. So that way, because like whatever could be done with 10 people, that could be done by one person, and then that multiplier could be 10, it could be 100. That's like, but yes, certainly with AI, we would need less number of people to do the same thing. And then if you are really creative, if you can really think out of the box, if you can a really problem solver, your ability to create value magnifies and become so much more. So that way, it can be used in any way. It could be used as an entrepreneur. It could be used even in your current role. And then it would be like AI would have to make that differentiation more within people. Like right now in engineering, people are the value is counted mostly based on their experience, and then a little based on what they actually do. But it has to change, and it would magnify, because in AI it would become so much more clear that people who are creative can do more, and then that would reflect in their business ventures too. So,
Okay, folks, thank you so much for a great
Thank you so much.
conversation. Folks,
Thank-
can we have a round of
Thanks
applause
a
for
lot.
them, please?